I'm with Gino Risoli, candidate in District 1, St Helier.
Yes, that's right.
You stood before?
3 times before.
Always for deputy?
No, once for senator, twice for deputy.
Obviously you're keen to be in the States. Why?
Well, my message is in the 3 times that I've stood, and this will be my 4th time, no different. Without government accountability, which can only be had by a transparent government, there's absolutely no likelihood of getting fairness for most people on the island. 70% of people do not vote, and for that reason. Now, the system has evolved from a small group of people that held power, and it's evolved, but it's always been a hierarchical system, so it's been possible for a small number of people to control the flow of information and use it in the way that they would retain power, which is normal. But today, with the advent of technology, it's dangerous actually, because unless we represent what is the truth, life will not support it.
The inevitability, as you hint at, that government is inevitably seeking power, maintaining its hold on power.
Yes, which is its right. Actually, what's happening, I don't blame the government for where we are now. I really don't. In other words, you know, you might have a few adjectives for people in power, but simply they're holding the fort until you get wise enough to take the power away.
In Jersey, is there an elected government that has the power? Because obviously some people will say that the finance industry has taken the power from government.
They've always had it. This is how Jersey's become so successful economically. Of course, things have changed and it's more difficult. But I want you just to keep an eye on how do we evolve a democracy. Now, when I say that without transparency there's no accountability, and so there's no chance really to change your representation. Now, with the advent of the internet, we can first of all make all government departments accountable financially. Each payment they make to people will be put on a searchable database. Now, I have said this 3 times, and the electorate that vote, they're not silly, so it's taken me actually quite a long while to resolve, if I may, why they don't support me. And the conclusion that I've come to is that when it comes to putting the X on the ballot box, they do not trust the truth to look after their investments. Now, that was quite a shocking realization to me. Now, I was raised a Catholic. I'm not a Catholic now, but it reminded me of a term from the Bible. Jesus said, if you had that much faith of a mustard seed, you could move a mountain. Now, what the problem is with the 30% that vote is that they don't realize that life can only expand. Truth is embedded in life, and if you don't expand, you'll die. So you might be able to look after your financial interests for a while, but it will be limited unless you go with the truth.
What worries me about what you're proposing is it's very much transparency about money matters.
Well, yes, because I'm trying to open the door to transparency on every level. Now, but you've got to first of all kick open one door of truth. So I took the route of looking at the financial implications, because most people outside their families make a decision out there because of the financial implications. So first of all, I wanted to open that door, because unless that door opens, you'll never get representation to look at anything else.
Well,
you can talk policies from here to the next 2,000 years. You're not getting it unless you make the government
People have
accountable.
different agendas, not because they necessarily want them, but for example, Senator Ossoff is very much obsessed with the cost of a new hospital. Somebody who's got an illness just wants treatment. They're not so much obsessed with the cost, they just want to get better. So people approach things with different priorities, don't they?
Right, let me answer that. You see, you're talking policy here. Some people want a hospital, some people want this. There's 1,000 wants on the table. Now, of course, each of them are quite separate, and some of those wants have cohesion and some of them don't. Right, so unless, first of all, you're able to elect people on the basis of free choice, in other words, having access to the information, it is no point talking about a hospital or, better pensions or better education. There's no point, because the agenda is held by a minority. First of all, you must fix the system so it can deliver something to you on truth. You say democracy. What we want in a democracy is everyone's views to be aired freely, put on the table.
Yeah, but
it cannot be done.
Airing the views is one thing, but implementations are no.
Of course.
The system which you refer to is in fact the capitalist system. Now you're a businessman.
Yes. Yeah.
In a way, a small capitalist businessman.
Yes.
Do you basically accept that the capitalist system is inevitable?
Now, you see, it depends your interpretation of a capitalist system. What I like about the capitalist system is that it has a freedom to it, right? Now, there is no services, whether it's health, education, any service that you care, the fire brigade, all public services have got to be paid by the economy. And just like everyone, the economy wants to be able to expand. Now,